readiness report for item analysis. From your teacher dashboard, click on My Course. On your My Course page, click on the Reports button in the bottom section for Star Review. Look at the left navigation bar under Star Readiness. We're going to look at the item analysis report. This shows you for the class period that you have pulled up all of the questions that were on the test. When I hover over each question, or click on each question type rather, it pulls up the question. It tells me the strand, the TEKS, the DOK level, the depth of knowledge level, 1 being the easiest, 4 being the most challenging, whether it's a readiness or supporting standard, what RTC it is related to. Now, the state test, the STAR, does not align the questions to RTCs. Every question is aligned to an RTC, so we just showed what that alignment was, even though the state doesn't designate it. The question type, what percentage of your students got that answer correct, and when you hover over that percentage, you can see the correct answer choice. What percentage of your students did not respond? They left it blank. So if I look at number 11, 10% of your students did not even put an answer choice. All your multiple choices are over here. Choice 1, 2, 3. And when I hover over the percentage, it shows me the answer choice that was picked by that percentage of students. Your short constructive response summaries right here. Your percentage of zeros, your percentage of zeros, ones, and twos. For all your other question types, such as drag and drop, multiple select, all of those question types, you get what percentage was partially correct and what percentage was not correct at all. I encourage you to use this report. I start by looking at my lowest categories. Where did my students perform the lowest? I might look at this one, number 8. 50%, only half of my students got this correct. When I hover over number 8, here's my question, an artificial reef. It is a multiple choice question. The correct answer was D. Artificial reefs serve as habitats for organisms. If I look over here, many of my students picked artificial reefs filter microplastics and pollutants. 30%. 20% artificial reefs provide additional shade for plants on the sea floor. And nobody picked artificial reefs release additional carbon dioxide into the water. In my opinion, the challenge on this particular question for students, which statement best describes how artificial reefs benefit ocean systems? Is that all these answer choices sound pretty good? Artificial reefs release additional carbon dioxide into the water. Carbon dioxide is released, and that is certainly part of it. So it is a true statement, but not the best overall benefit. Artificial reefs provide additional shade for plants on the seafloor. They may or may not. However, plants do need to photosynthesize, right? So that's not a benefit, although it could be a true statement, right? It does. An artificial reef will provide extra shade as opposed to a place where it wouldn't. Artificial reefs filter microplastics and pollutants. Well, the microplastics and pollutants certainly go through an artificial reef. This is a true statement, but this certainly isn't beneficial. That's not a benefit, right? So the problem with these types of questions, not the problem, the challenge, not every true statement is the right answer. You're not looking for what's true or false. You're looking for the answer to the question. So in my opinion, that's what I believe happened on this question type. So you can look at questions, look at the answer choices, look at how your students did on it, and what the breakdown looked like, and that could help you get some insight into what your students were thinking. I like to use some of these questions as warm-ups in my class, as bell ringers, and discuss not only the content, but the thinking behind the question and how I would go through it and eliminate choices and model that for students. When you see something like this, 20%, 10%, 20%, and only 60% that got it right, this 40%, these are probably guesses, right? There's not a big variance here, but across these students just guessed. More than likely is what happened on that question type. I hope that you take some time to analyze the questions. In a perfect world, I like to analyze every single question and look at all of those questions and get some insight into what my students' thinking was, because that can help me make instructional decisions when I'm reteaching, when I am spiraling, when I'm pulling small groups. I hope this helps. Thank you.